Join me today on the rural project as I turn these logs into great firewood and fill the firewood shed from floor to ceiling. Welcome back, my name's Chris and you're watching the rural project. So hey, I'm back here down in the woodyard again. As I said yesterday, stayed over last night. Beautiful day today, beautiful clear blue sky, it's nice and cool, just perfect for some hard work. Could do with a little bit of a breeze, but we'll see how the day picks up. Right, so today, as I said, I'm going to be working my way through these logs. So we'll pull these out into the open and smack them a few times with a maul, split them up a little bit like I have done already. I just did a tester this morning, and then we'll get the log splitter going and we shall start filling this bay of the woodshed. I think there's enough wood here in those logs to fill this bay, but we shall see. Right, let's get to work and let's see how far we get today. And yeah, let's get into a little bit of splitting. These are big solid lumps, as you can see. I'm thinking the stringy bark because of the sap that goes around in rings, but not 100% certain. We shall see once it starts to dry out. Once it's dry, I can usually tell you, because this has been burned as well, and it's pretty difficult to work out exactly what it is. But let's get this one smacked a few times, get it split up. We'll hit this one a few times, and this one, and then that log splitter will be going, and we shall start filling the wood stack. There's just one crack on this one. And that's the faint one there as well. So let's go and follow that one. Certainly gets the heart rate going. Nothing like a little bit of maul work in the morning. If you have a look at this, so if we get a little bit of punk in the middle, the rest of it's pretty solid, but from the you see it better there, softer, pretty punky in the middle, and then a different colour band there to there to there. It's pretty interesting. All these little black spots on it. Anyway, black spots or not, it all burns. So let's get the next one split. The only one I can see radiating into the middle. Let's start with that one. Immediately opened up one there. And all these getting the job done today. Okay, that is all the pieces split. So you know what time it is now? It's splitting time. first round split. That was pretty quick. It's only 10 past 10, so I'm moving pretty quick here. I think what I'll do is I'll split the rest of those, get a decent pile in the wood store there, and then do a bit of stacking all together. That's right, it's stacking time. And then, as if by magic, it's all stacked. So this stuff that I've just split, as you can see here, some nice big chunky pieces. It's very wet. It's going to take all that time to dry out for certain, but it's got all the time, and as you can see with the woodshed that we've got here, you've got airflow through the floor, through the sides, through the back, and there's plenty of space over the top, and of course no front, and the front gets the sun most of the morning, and then in the afternoon all the breezes come up through the hill. Breezes come up through there and you get a nice warm draft coming right up through the floor here. It's awesome for drying wood out. Exactly why we built it, the way we did. And obviously it didn't take up any space here either. Right, I'm going to now get the saws out, the safety gear on, and start tackling some of that wood. Okay, so this log is all marked out, ready to cut. Weapon of choice is the 462 today, and that is a freshly sharpened chain. Just when I was doing the marking out there, I can tell it's nice and sharp. It's throwing chips a mile. So right, let's get into this. Let's cut some of these, and once these are done, I'll actually put the bigger bar on and cut up the rest of the logs. In fact, once I've cut through about half of this, I'll put the bigger bar on. Save struggling, I've got the bar with me, so might as well use it and have a little bit of fun. Right, let's get this thing chopped up. Things sharp today. Took a little bit off the rakers and maybe a little bit too much, but boy, she sure is grabbing. That's awesome. So those aren't shavings, but they're nice sized chips. as you can see, really grabbing and throwing those chips a long way. Right, I'm going to try and get this thing rolled over now, and we'll cut the other side. I just tried moving these with a PV bar, and they're just too solid. I do not want to start sort of trying to cut all the way through and touching the stones underneath. So I was going to leave the excavator at the top of the hill. I've got a little plan for that, turn it into a bit of a homemade skyline for bringing down bringing up some of the trees from down in the gully. More on that in a future video. But I think what I'll do is I'll bring the excavator down here, get the log grab on it, pick these up, and make light work of it. I'll be able to bring the trees over closer to the splitter, so less manual handling for me. Right, so I'll bring you guys back once the excavator's down here and we're ready to start cutting again. Got the excavator back, grab the log, flip that one over so I can cut from the underside up. I'll mark this one out, and then we'll get this one cut as well. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll finish off these two, and I'll then get the bigger bar on for the others. This is most probably the biggest out of the lot, so I need to finish that one off. So I can get through it, but I've got a bigger bar, might as well have a bit of fun and enjoy it. Gives an idea of just how wet this stuff is inside. Look at that. It feels solid. Feels solid on the inside, but it is so wet. It looks different to that one, obviously. As you can see there, that's gone punky on the end. This is wet as well. I think it seems to be where the sap is. The rings of sap, it seems to be able to transfer water in that sap. A bit punky there. Right, we shall get the bigger bar on and get into cutting some more. Alright, there's the 462 with a 36-inch bar on, skip tooth chain sharp, but let's get this thing going and see how it cuts. cuts through in one solid pass. Certainly wouldn't say it's as fast as the 20-inch bar that I was just using. So the 462 works well with a 20-inch or 24-inch. Yeah, I had the 20-inch on earlier, and that was semi-chisel, so it wasn't even the fastest cutting of chains, but it was cutting through really well. This feels like, yeah, maybe the chain's not as sharp as I was hoping, but anyway, we've got a few more cuts to do. We'll see how we go, and if it gets too slow, I'll give it a sharpen by hand. Right, let's get these logs moved around, get another one in the air, and get some more logs cut. Okay, we've just sharpened this chain up again, so let's see how it cuts this time. Wasn't too impressed. Forming it cut well. Certainly wasn't as fast or as aggressive as a short chain, but so we'll give it a little bit of a sharpen and we'll see how we go. much better. Quick sharpen on the chain, and yeah, that cuts so much better, as you'll have seen. Right, I've got a couple more cuts here, and then I think we'll start attacking this with the axe and get some of this stuff split and put in the firewood shed. What I'm doing here, I'm just wiping off the gravel and grit that's stuck to the bottom of this wet log. So the log's been sort of sat on the gravel for quite a few weeks, and as you can see there, the small stones have gone and stuck to it, so best to get that stuff removed before you try cutting through it. That's it. All the wood in the wood yard now booked up to length. I've had a great idea. I'm going to use the excavator to drop the logs onto the log splitter rather than noodling them. I'll give it a try, see how it goes, but I think it'll work alright as long as I'm nice and gentle and don't don't pound the logs down into the wood splitter and bend something or pop a tyre or something. Right, so as you can see though, that's a fair few rounds there. Put so many through the log splitter already, and that's our little pile ready to go. I think we're going to at least double that with all of those rounds that sat over there. Right, I'm going to bring you guys back at the end of the day. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. Hoping to go till 5, but I'm hoping to go till 5, but I am actually out of fuel. So I've got a tiny bit left in one jerry can, and I have no petrol left. So rather than heading off into town and filling up a can, I think I'll just keep going until the log splitter runs out of fuel, and that'll be it for the day. And I'll get some fuel on my way home or close to home. Well, I tried lifting one of the rounds with the excavator onto the log splitter, but to be honest, I could tell I was going to do damage, so it was time to break out the Maul and knock some of these rounds down into smaller, manageable pieces. Well, I got about half of them split. That was the first one that I struggled with. A big knot on one side. I'm sure if I flip that over, I'll see something like this with a double going through it. And I gave that a couple of whacks and realised I was going nowhere with that. Any of these were doubles. Didn't bother trying to get into it. This wood's hard enough as it is without trying to cause himself problems. So what I'll do is I'll get these onto the log splitter. I'm out of breath after all that. Get these onto a log splitter, and those that need chopping in half, I'll noodle those in half with a chainsaw. Unless I can lift them, but I doubt whether I'll be able to. It'll be pretty heavy. Right, let's get the log splitter going and get our woodshed filled. Well, that's it. Thank goodness it's finally run out of fuel. I'm shattered. It's 5:30. We've only got a little bit left to do. Just a few rounds left. But I've got a serious pile of wood there. That's taken a lot of splitting. That stuff is seriously wet, and therefore it is seriously very heavy. It's much easier when the wood's dry. The weight of it wears you out. I'm aching everywhere at the moment. What I'm going to do now, I'll just grab the excavator. I'll move these logs around so that I can drive in here, and then I'll get the cover on the log splitter, and I'll head back up and call it a day. Okay, 1 week later, we are done. One solid wall of firewood, all ready for drying over winter, spring, summer and autumn. And this stuff will be beautiful for burning next year once it's dried out. Like I said, it is pretty wet. But yeah, so all the logs that was here, we got them split today. I also tackled a few logs that were in this wood pile. As you can see, that wood pile there was to the top, so we kind of halved that. And yeah, we are done. I'm going to consider this project done. The log splitter is going to go back up to the garage, back up to the shed. Do a little bit of an oil change on that, bit of a service, and we'll also fix that fuel tank which has come loose. There's 2 bolts that are missing from it now, so I need to do a little bit of a repair on that. And that is my woodshed finished. As you can see, we've done a bit of a rake of this area and tidied up all the wood chips, all the sawdust, all the chips, all the waste. That's all gone back up the hill. So a few bits of info for you. This woodshed holds 28 cubic meters. And for me to split 28 cubic meters, I've produced over 2 cubic meters of waste. All the cookies and offcuts and all the waste when you're splitting, all the little splits that you can't go selling, they've all been taken back up to the top of the hill. So there's 2 cubic meters of waste, and I have produced possibly 15 of these little trolley carts full of sawdust and wood noodles and just wasting that off the floor. All of that waste is all off the side here, and as I've said in the past, this will all now rot down nicely into compost to keep this ground nice and fertile. I've absolutely no idea how much fuel I've used. I've certainly spent a lot of hours. This has been multiple weekends getting all of this done. It'd be nice if I had a much faster splitter, but I don't. So you got to do what you got to do, and you got to use what you got. Right, so I will say thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Next projects for me are going to be going sort of back up the hill. I'll leave this area for a while now. It's complete. Go back up the hill, and I'm going to try and get some of the wood that's in the gully and set up some sort of skyline system using the excavator, pulleys, winches. We'll see how I go. But that's a plan, to try and get some of the wood from the gully back up the hill, and we'll fill the wood store that's at the top of the hill near the container. We'll get that one filled because that's rapidly emptying. Okay, so thanks for watching. Really appreciate you watching. If you haven't done already, give it a quick thumbs up, give it a like, and I will see you on the next video on the Rural Project.